Hello and welcome, I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let us finish our Venetian Vengeance series. So this video is going out on I believe it's the 14th of January, which is the date that the Conquest of Paradise DLC and the new patch come out for EU4. And as much as I have enjoyed failing at doing my goal here, we're not going to keep playing this. I'm not going to try to maintain an old version of the game just so I can keep this series going. What I'm going to do is I'll probably retry Venice again because I've learned a lot. You know, like just to reflect on what I did that could have gone better is probably would have been wise to remove territories from the HRE right at the start of the game instead of waiting. There's no reason really not to. I mean, we did successfully neuter Austria. Austria's down to like, what, 4 provinces? I guess they've got 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th over there. That's it. So I mean, Austria is like weak. But as far as like dismantling the HRE, no, we're nowhere near doing that quite yet. It's going to take some work. You know, if I had actually managed to vassalize Brandenburg, or whichever one it was, the Brandenburg, the Palatinate, it would have been good. What else I could have done a lot better would be if I had managed the aggressive expansion better. And I know some people are going to say, well, you just attacked a lot and you never stopped attacking, and that's not really managing aggressive expansion. There are ways, or at least there were in version 1.3, to mitigate your aggressive expansion. Like what we could have done would be to attack, get everyone to hate us, and then after doing that, attack somebody else, like say a single province minor like Mantua or Modena or whoever, you know, like somebody really tiny. And then even though we win the war, once we're at the 100% war score, actually surrender to them and then release, like Tuscany or what was this again? Urbino. And by doing that, each vassal you release as part of a peace deal is -30 aggressive expansion with everyone. So you'd be able to like knock off 60 AE with everyone nearby you. And then, since you had already cored it, then in a few years you just attack them again. And you just take it back. And since you have a core, then there's no aggressive expansion. So there were ways you could manage aggressive expansion much better, and I didn't do any of those. What else could we have done? Of course, that's changing in version 1.4. Now you only get reduced aggressive expansion for provinces you give away yourself. So it just slightly changes. It's still possible. Other than that, just being more patient and not growing aggressive expansion quite as much would have been good. I had some pretty good... I mean, I had a lot of fun with the battles in Treviso. I mean, I certainly learned a lot about combat and how effective it is to defend in the mountains. I mean, that was like the only saving grace we had. But the endless coalition wars, when you have multiple coalition wars happening against you at the same time, you know things aren't going too well. Hey, they actually managed to land their troops. That's surprising. So we're going to hang out in Pest, try to take the capital. I'm just going to play out this one last video, and then we're just going to call it, I think. Castile's apparently rejoined this battle, and now we've got one final big battle here. We got the fleet of Naples and Castile versus mine. They do have a leader, a 1-1. We have none, so that's unfortunate that they have that advantage. But we have more galleys than they do by quite a bit. They have transports and they have some heavies though, which are actually quite good. We won the Battle of Istria. That's nice. I'm amazed at how much war score that darn Firenze is worth. 9.4. That seems like an exorbitant amount. So I'm thinking, you know, we have a lot of galleys, but those 9 heavy ships have huge hull size, lots of cannons. So we might still lose this battle. But that's okay, because we did beat up Castile's army. So I think here we detach. Can we detach? We have really no siege score. Let's just go blow up his army. I mean, it is the war goal, but that's artillery. We gotta blow up that artillery. And since we're about to lose, I think we just retreat to Venice. They did take one of our ships. Unfortunate. So now they're going to blockade everything, which is not good. Okay, we blew up that army. Now we go back to Istria. 35% towards taking the capital of Hungary. Make sure we're on full maintenance so we can repair up those ships. We're back up to 2% war score now. Looks like Firenze was actually taken back by that single little regiment there. Right next to it, Naples has an army of nine regiments, and they didn't even bother to prevent Tuscany from taking it back. That's shocking. course, they're about to take the other province, but Friends was also the capital. That might be why it was worth so much. If we can take their capital, that's very good. That'll be helpful. So, Mr. Hungary, you're not, of course, willing to surrender when you have 2% war score, but if we take back Istria, we can go blow up that little one regiment there. Some infantry we can kill. Looks like the Palatinate is trying to help out there. Why don't we go ahead and detach and go try to help? Very nice. No leader. Am I not using any of my leaders or something, or are they just all terrible? Let's head back out here. I want to keep the armies next to each other. And let's detach damaged and bring out the repaired ones to get that blockade going on Istria, so it's easier to siege. And also easier to take back Ancona. It makes a big difference. Good thing we joined that fight, because we gained 5 prestige. And he's retreating now to somewhere over there. There's a bunch of changes coming up in the patch. That's the other main reason for wanting to change to the new version 1.4. Like Shadowed Retreat's no longer going to be infinite. Like they can only retreat, I think it's 10 provinces. And not that 10 is, I mean 10's still a lot, but there's just good changes, you know. I think it's going to be good. So we'll just try to win this war and then probably call this video and just call this series here. I mean, I think given enough time, I can easily, definitely still do this. I mean, France is our friend again. We actually like France, even though they dishonored the alliance, so things are getting better. I also think in the past that switching up my alliances, trying to do the Hungary thing, I think if I played again, I would just completely ignore Hungary. Hungary is never going to be a friend. Whereas Castile or Aragon should be a friend. And instead, I've ended up pissing them off. The other thing that I'd probably do is I did a single-player playthrough, and there's some missions early on that you can get that will give you a claim on Cyprus, which I can't actually fabricate a claim on Cyprus because it's too far away. At the beginning of the game, you own Crete, and you can't actually fabricate a claim on Cyprus. But that mission will give you that claim. You take Cyprus, which is part of the Alexandria node, and then all of a sudden you can actually attack in Alexandria, you can fight the Ottomans, you can actually try to restore the Byzantine Emperor, Byzantium, make them into a vassal by attacking them. They start off down here. And then you feed cores back to Byzantium from the Ottomans, and then you get all this trade power over here, which feeds right into Venice. So I would probably do more like that. You expand away from these next door neighbors so that you don't build up aggressive expansion with everyone in Europe. Instead, you're building up aggressive expansion down here, which doesn't matter as much. And then, occasionally, you take like one little thing. I would definitely try to rush Urbino. I would take that right away. And then, one last thing is that the people that you expect would be the most likely to lead coalitions and be problematic, try to ally them. Even if you go over the diplomatic relations limit at the very beginning, you ally them because allies do not, they receive 0 aggressive expansion from your conquests. So as long as you make them an ally before you take like the next door neighbor, then even if that ally breaks at some point, it doesn't matter, they didn't pick up the AE. So there are ways to manage AE. And are you losing? What's going on there? Alright, well, I really don't want you to lose this battle, but I don't want to break up this because we breached the walls. I don't want to give this up either. Who's here? Tyrol. Tyrol's one of my vassals, so they can keep the siege up. That's fine. Okay, so we'll go over here and try to help. Hopefully they get there in time. Looks like Hungary's reinforcing also. Good. We helped them to win. And that means that they retreated, which means we can go blow them up right here. We have apparently just 1 cavalry, but Tyrol's contributing quite a bit of other stuff for us. Let's go kill Hungary. Looks like we will turn around this war. How does the coalition look anyway? Actually, the coalitions are gone, so... I hesitate to really cancel this series, because I am having fun with it, and I know that we could achieve the goal. Are you actually running all the way over there? Like, where did you go? Alright, so we get to blow up their fleet. We should bring out the rest of our boats. They're probably all repaired. Just in case, though, we'll detach damage. Nope, they're all repaired. Good. Well, he is running all the way over here. You're a sneaky little guy, aren't you? Pick up new technology. Could get the level 5. We already capped out our idea. And then the other thing, I would not take espionage. As interesting as it was, and as boring as it is, I would probably take, like, diplomatic ideas. Or trade, you know. I mean, these can't really be underestimated. That plus 10% global trade power, the extra merchant, trade efficiency going up by 10%. It's so significant. Trade efficiency up by 10. So trade income is modified by trade efficiency. That's one thing I didn't realize. I read up on it quite a bit. And so if you boost your trade efficiency by 10%, you also boost your trade income by 10%. So that's a bonus 10% income from trade. In addition to that, your trade efficiency modifies your power in every node. So that's in here. So you're talking about, okay, now all of your light ships are 10% more effective at producing trade power. And all of your provinces generate 10%. I mean, it's kind of stupid to me, really, to not realize how valuable it would be to play as a merchant when you're playing as a merchant republic. But, you know, it is what it is. So I would play differently. And I think I could do a lot better. You running away from me? Looks like you are. Hey, Castile managed to sneak a fleet by. That's kind of weird. So do we want to take the tech? I think we do. Over the yeah, got rid of those guys because what, we had no money, probably. Makes sense. Yeah, blow up Castile's fleet. Got some heavies in there. Doesn't matter, we're gonna kill them. This army has no leader. I don't know why I'm chasing people around with it. All right, so we've taken the war goal. Now we're at 3%. The Ancona and the blockades and okay, so they've got all these blockades up because we're in the middle of a battle. And Naples put some army there. Looks like we're going to win this battle quite well. Fortunately, we do have one of our commanders here, the 1-2. He's not very good, though. Okay, so their blockades are all gone. They're going to go into Ancona. We're going to take Ancona. And then we're going to get to take all of his fleet, which is going to be awesome. They suffered the -2 crossing penalty into plains. We won that. Blew up some more army. 42% chance. Now we're back up to 15% war score. Hungary's probably willing to surrender here, but I want to blow up Castile's fleet. Or capture it. So let's take back Ancona. We don't have claims on much. You know, we have a core here. So that'd be free to take. Istria is, shouldn't be... Well, it is a tiny little bit of aggressive expansion, but because it's our core, it doesn't cost much. And then even Laika. Laika causes quite a bit. But Laika is coastal, and it's part of our trade node, and it would give us more force limit. It'd be good. And we technically don't have any aggressive expansion right now. Of course, it's Protestant, so I'd actually probably not like it right now. So let's just blow up Castile's fleet for the sake of blowing it up. It's actually a fairly substantial army there. Can we afford to reinforce it? Our current leader has no siege. We do have, what, 1 cannon here. So Tuscany is a vassal again. They weren't causing any problems. I don't think if we detach the siege that it will be problematic. Let's do it. And you guys are going to land on the 18th, 6 more days. We'll have them reinforced as well. Okay, unfortunately we added a crossing penalty. There we go. We get to blow up those very poorly repaired ships. We blew them up to high heaven, so we should capture or blow up quite a few of them. Yeah, we killed all of them. Completely decimated. Not decimated. We annihilated it. We gained 1 heavy. But we apparently lost a galley. That's interesting. Okay, well that's good. So Castile's just got weakened like crazy. And we did manage to turn that battle around as well. Now we're at 28% war score. Probably would want to do something like this. Probably negotiate with Castile first. They're not willing to do anything apparently. Length of war, war exhaustion. That's fine. We must not have a lot of war score against them. Yeah, only 4. Alright, well let's just negotiate with Hungary. We want Istria back. We want some money. Transfer trade power is pretty unlikely, I think. We could also have them release nation if we really wanted to push it, and then capture Ragusa later. But no, we'll just take this. Just, you know, just not timid, but pass the Anti-Piracy Act. Seems fine. That would have been good when we had like 200 aggressive expansion with everyone. And I would repair the fleet. And then the other thing is, I think I mentioned it a video or two ago that I was able to actually... Okay, so I was reading up on trade, and basically it works like this. If you are the majority leader in a node, then your primary goal should be to reduce the trade power of your enemies. That's the best way to get the most statistical advantage on the node. So rather than putting all my trade ships here, I should just try to reduce Naples' trade power, either by embargoing them, blowing up their light ships in war, or taking provinces from them. You can add trade ships here to help out a little bit, but you're actually better off using your trade ships like somewhere over here where you're the minority, because then you get a larger statistical advantage from each additional point of trade power. So, you know, I could, like, if you start off, load up the game, the 1444 Venice start date, you make more money at the very beginning of the game just by putting your trade ships here and then sending the money this way versus putting all your trade ships in the capital node. And then also, in almost all circumstances, from what I read on the wiki, it's really more effective generally to just collect from trade. The AI starts you off transferring trade power, but we'd have to do some math and calculations on it to really justify everything. But like, it might make more sense to put half the fleet in Ragusa and then collect from trade here versus transferring it. Although in this specific case, you're talking about, you probably do have a majority here in the beginning of the game. So it could just all be done a lot better, and you know, I feel like it was a fun series. I had a lot of fun. I played like crazy. I used this series to try to get better, in hopes that I'd be prepared for the expansion. So, but anyway, think of it more like the Granada playthrough. I am not giving up on Venetian Vengeance. I do want to play as Venice and destroy the HRE, but I think that this is time for a reset or a reboot and to do it better. So. Anyway, this video is going live at 9 a.m. EST, the day of the patch, so the next EU4 video you see after this series will be for the expansion. So thanks for watching, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you again soon.